Hello everybody and welcome back to SVR 11 Universe. I'm Jitch and this is the Royal Rumble.
And his for the ECW Championship. And introducing the challenger from Atlanta, Georgia, Lex Luger.
Pardon me for all the noises, I forgot to monitor how the microphone is currently sounding, so I'm sorry about all the horrible sounds you'll have just heard. But it's worth it to make sure that you're not going to hear them throughout the whole video. That should be the last of the horrible noises unless I accidentally knock into the microphone. So, yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're at the Royal Rumble. It's the first special event of the year 2010, which it is currently of January. Happy January, everybody. Coming on to February. Looking forward to Valentine's Day, we all are, aren't we? Absolutely.
From Hawaii, weighing 237 pounds, Steamboat.
And realistically, if there's one thing that we can expect from the ECW title, it's it kicking off pay-per-views rather than being the central focus of them. Sorry to say, Mr. Big Silver, but you're probably not going to be a strong focus when it comes to these events. But nonetheless, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Lex Luger so far in the ring. There's the good old WrestleMania sign, never mind the XXVI underneath it. It is in fact WrestleMania I, or if you want to correctly refer to it, WrestleMania. This is not the 26th, and obviously you don't refer to the first as the first, so it's not going to be called WrestleMania 1 either. It's just WrestleMania.
And introducing the challenger from the Double Cross Ranch in Amarillo, Texas, weighing in at 247 pounds, Terry Funk.
For those that are maybe new to the series, or maybe just haven't been keeping up with ECW, or whatever be your story, to sum this one up, there were 6 pinfall submission only battle royals to determine who would be competing for the ECW Championship at the Royal Rumble. Each one of those featured 6 kind of lesser featured people from Raw and SmackDown. Admittedly, that's 12 people from both brands that have had an opportunity, which goes to show how many people maybe aren't used as strongly as they could be. But nonetheless, 24 people have all had an opportunity to become the ECW champion. It's been whittled down to these 4 people. And last week we actually had a one-on-one encounter whilst Ricky Steamboat and Lex Luger were qualifying for the championship match. We had a qualifier, one more face-off between the 2 people that qualified the week before. That's being Yoshi, Tatsu and Terry Funk.
The ECW champion, Yoshi, Tatsu.
And the reason for all this backstory, the reason for all this build-up is because Yoshi Tatsu has been given the honors of carrying out the ECW Championship after beating Terry Funk last week on ECW, or this past Thursday on ECW, as I believe what that would have been. He's been given the honors of being the one to carry it out. He is not officially the ECW Championship, but we need someone to bring it out, kind of do the honors, and that's what he's been given. My God, that belt is so small. That's probably one of the biggest championships wrestling has ever seen. That centerpiece was just massive in real life, and that is a very, very small version of that championship.
Oh boy, look at the gold. This should be an outstanding.
I'm hoping that this episode won't face all the visual and audio technical problems that an episode of SmackDown did from a few weeks back. Number 23 in the series, if you're curious what I'm talking about. There's been a few issues I've been having with capturing. I think I've kind of gotten my head wrapped around them now. I think it basically comes down to... I tried to record everything in 59.94, which is as close to 60 frames per second as consoles can apparently go. It keeps bumping it down, like my capture program keeps bumping the frame rate down to 25 frames per second or 30. 25 if we're playing a PS2 game, 30 I'm not sure why it keeps putting things down to, but it keeps putting them down to 30. So, I have to keep remembering now at the start of every single recording session to change the frame rate back to what it was at, because for some reason it just doesn't want to stay at that. I know there are some games that only play at 30, and it's probably those where it's changed it down to 30. But it is supposed to be playing at as close to 60 FPS as it can. It's the same format that I render in and everything, so it actually helps things render smoothly because then you don't get any issues in rendering as it's trying to make up frames or condense frames down or whatever it be. So I'm doing my best to make sense of all the technical problems. But we're starting things off with this 4-way match. I will admit that one match has been bumped off of the show, and that is simply because I just don't have that much time. I don't think I could squeeze it in. I also can't actually book women's championship matches, so the women's championship match between Michelle McCool and Beth Phoenix has been taken off of the show, so that we can still fit in the Royal Rumble as well as this ECW title match. However, I will try to remember to just book a match between Michelle McCool and Beth Phoenix on SmackDown, and we'll just say that's for the women's title, and if Michelle McCool wins, then I'll go into the settings and I'll give her the title. It's just I don't think I'm going to have enough time, because at the moment it's 2:30, or 2:45 actually, and I've got until 5, and then I've got to go, and obviously we have a Royal Rumble match ahead of us. And there goes Yoshi Tatsu. Lex Luger, the ultimate in disappointing everybody, continues to do just that. I haven't actually seen the reception that Lex Luger winning the Battle Royal got yet, but I can only assume that people weren't happy because, like, I don't know, I just get this feeling that Lex Luger's not that loved. Especially when you put him up against Yoshi Tatsu, who I know that you guys absolutely love. But Yoshi Tatsu, he might have been the first to bring the championship down to the ring, but that does not mean he's the first to ever be recognized as ECW champion. That will be determined in this match. He is the first to fail to win the ECW championship in a match, as sad as that is. Realistically, it seems like if there's one thing I've learned about the ECW title division, is that what you got to try and do is go for pins and you'll win. Everyone is willing to take the fall if you just try to pin them. But we do still have coming up on this Royal Rumble event. I might squeeze in the Women's Championship match before the Royal Rumble match, depending on how much time we've got. But at the moment I'm going with it's been cancelled. If you suddenly see it after a world title match though, consider it like the cool down match / big match if you're interested in that. I just don't imagine that one's going to deliver spectacularly. I know people have said Michelle McCool and Beth Phoenix are good wrestlers, but in a game, I don't know. I'd probably play it just so I can actually make it A, go by a little smoother, and B, you know, either give it to someone I think maybe deserves it more, or to have a championship reign last a little longer. Texas pile driver. Ricky Steamboat with the no-sell. Lex Luger getting mad that he's not the center focus. Uh-oh, that's the exact move he got Tatsu out with, except he didn't pin Steamboat. I gotta say, Tatsu was honestly my only pick to win this. But now that I gotta pick someone else, Terry Funk. It's gotta be Terry Funk. An ECW veteran has got to be the first ever ECW champion. My least favorite to win this, still Lex Luger. Hands down, still Lex Luger. I will say, going forward into the Royal Rumble match, although I can't get community creations, and you've already seen everyone that this game has to offer, barring people that are completely banned from this series, such as Mr. McMahon, and a second John Cena, and Druid. There will be some surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble. That's all I'm going to say about who they are. That's if the game books them. I'm not going to mess with the participants of the Royal Rumble. But there may be a couple surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble. I'm just going to leave it at that. And if anybody, if they don't appear, then you can all just go off the assumption that I was just fibbing. Don't read into it too hard. Don't overthink it. And don't hype yourself up too much. The Royal Rumble match is the main event. We've got okay, good. We've got a WWE title match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels, a World Heavyweight title match between Randy Orton and The Big Show, a US title match between Kane and Sheamus, an Intercontinental title match between The Miz and Cody Rhodes, and a Divas triple threat match, championship match between Natalya, Mickie James, and Melina, which will be Melina's first ever successful defense if she actually wins. You know, maybe Natalya can actually get the Hart Dynasty back on the map and win. Someone's bleeding. Oh, Ricky Steamboat's bleeding. Sorry, his little swooshy emo hair is kind of covering his bloody spot. I'm not liking that Luger is the only one that's not showing limb damage right now. They're both hurting quite badly, and Luger's like, he's fine. He's doing A-okay. I want it to come down to Steamboat and Funk. Luger.
Again, this match is for the ECW Championship. That was unique.
Big old bulldog.
And there's the head scissor.
He keeps getting that signature. I don't like it. I gotta say, looking at who's in the final three of this standoff, my question to you is, barring these three and Yoshi Tatsu, who would you like to see challenge for the ECW Championship down the line? Who would you like to see be a potential contender for the ECW Championship? Does it change based on who's holding the championship or not? But ultimately, yes. The question is, who would you like to see be first in line for the ECW Championship? Would you like it to be one of the three that failed to capture it, or would you like to see someone different? And if so, who? Mostly everyone can qualify for the ECW Championship. My main rule with it... Okay, good. My main rule with it is that it can't be a guy who's kind of like in the top 5 of the other brand, of like one of their brands. I just feel like if you're a main feature on Raw and SmackDown, you don't need to be on ECW. The whole point of ECW is to kind of give the lesser ranked people something to fight for. Obviously, yeah, if you are holding a championship, you also probably shouldn't be challenging for the ECW title. I'm not against dual champions in the universe, hence why we've got Miz at the moment with the Intercontinental and the tag title. But I don't particularly want someone holding the ECW Championship and something else. Obviously, if they're holding the ECW Championship first and then it kind of builds them up to something, then that's a different story. But if they're already holding even a tag title and they win the ECW title, I just feel like that takes something away from the ECW Championship. Oh, very nice drop toe hold to escape the bionic elbow. I got a feeling this one's going to be over in any moment now. I'm just hoping that it ends for the better and not for the worse. The problem is they get real stupid in these battle royals. They just don't know how to eliminate people. I think I said that originally I was going to make this an elimination 4-way, so I'm sorry that I forgot to do that. It probably would have made more sense for me to have done that. I know I wanted to make it elimination the whole way through because it kind of gives everyone like as fair as possible a chance to win the ECW Championship. Every one of the 23 people in this 24-man mini tournament can then admit that they lost on the road to the ECW Championship. Whoever won, they never got pinned on the road to this championship. Admittedly, they only won 2 matches to do so. Yoshi Tatsu would have won 3, but, you know, he was the first to go instead, so what do I know? All I'm saying is they can wrap this one up anytime now. I am really not a fan of watching the AI play matches. I just wanted to make this one super fair. Other than Chavo. I kind of screwed Chavo. Trust me when I say if I was going to screw anyone in that battle royal though, it would have been Santino, hence why I went for pinning him right away. If there was any one guy I just did not want to win the Raw Battle Royal, it was Santino, so I would have played him, which is kind of my confession for I definitely did not intend to play Chavo, in case anyone is suspicious. I don't know, that episode hasn't gone up yet, I don't know how that was received. Terry Funk's going to eliminate Ricky Steamboat though, that's for sure. He's wailing on that bloody face. What is that little red dot on Terry Funk's back? Does anyone know? That's got to be something. Whether that's like a birthmark or... I don't know. Oh! Texas pile driver on Lex Luger. Pin him. Pin him. One of you two. Pin him. Thank you, Terry Funk. That is it. Get that piece of shit out of here. Thank you. All right. This is a snazzy match right here. As a Patreon member, I actually can give snazzy spoilers, so allow me to quickly let Snazzy know what be happening. You know what? I'll tell him later. Actually, thinking on it, I could see him liking this though. Ricky Steamboat and Terry Funk as the final two. The only thing better would have been Yoshi Tatsu. Oh. Old school roll up for the win, maybe. Okay, of course, it wouldn't be a SVR 11 match without it. Yep, that's right. It wouldn't be a universe match without it. Back and forth roll up attempts. At least there are only like 3 in this game. I can't remember which one it is, but there's one where it's a lot more than 3. I think Terry Funk just won this. Big old DDT, which I think is one of his signatures. He's going to hit that pile driver. My goodness, the amount of blood on his chest. That is all from Ricky Steamboat.
Oh gosh, Funk just planted him right on the top of his head.
Well, there you go. I mean, realistically, he's earned it.
One, two.
Terry Funk is the first ECW champion. Hit that damn music. Hit that damn music now. Yeah. Gonna want some serious medical attention on Ricky Steamboat. He got the hell beaten out of him towards the end there. Funk was wearing his blood. Well, Terry Funk is the first ever ECW champion. Quite a fitting champion if I say so myself, although it won't be a very extreme brand. It's still a fitting guy to hold it as the first ever. Well done, Terry. Well done. Alright, things just get bigger and better. US title match. Quite a big way to kick off the main show. I guess that last match was kind of like a pre-show match. So Kane defending his United States Championship for the first time. Some could argue Batista earns a shot when he beat Kane in the main event of Raw, but he'll have to wait in line because Sheamus had already won a contenders match, I believe, when that happened. But Kane could join Evan Bourne in the small but growing list of champions who never made it past their first defense. I guess we'll wait and see. Obviously, this match hasn't even started yet, so let's not jump to any conclusions. But I feel like that is one list that will kind of grow, because it's one thing to earn a championship, but it's another to be able to keep a championship. And obviously, Sheamus is coming off a very big win on Raw, and a very small belt. Not only is that belt really small, but he's wearing it like extremely high up too. Like, that's not just me, right? Like, that is a really abnormally high part of the body to be wearing a championship. It's supposed to kind of sit around your hips. Oh well. Sheamus could be joining The Miz as a 2-time champion, or double champion is the correct term. 2-time would imply that he's held the same championship twice, which currently no one has achieved, but that's because we've only ever had a mass of 1 title change per belt so far. Obviously, we've only been around for 2 months in this universe, so why would we have multi-time champions already? That would be a little bit excessive. I've been getting a lot of demand, by the way, for the Hardcore Championship. Don't worry, I do hear you guys. I just want to wait until we've got a big enough roster for the Hardcore Championship. As I said in a previous episode, I'm looking into probably getting WWE 12 and so on the 360, so I already have all the DLC, which includes online access, because then I can just access community creations. And I remember the community creations in 360, I remember this being a thing back then, is way better than the community creations in PS3 anyway, because the 360 was easier to hack, so you could get better textures and renders and all kinds of stuff. So just for those reasons alone, I want to go back to the 360 version. I know that the PS3 has like a smoother frame rate and is a bit more honest with its resolutions rather than trying to upscale everything, but either way, I still render these at 1080p. This is still being recorded at 1080, just upscaled from 720 because the PS3 admitted that it only plays this at 720. So, you know, it doesn't really matter in the long run. It's just, I don't know. I guess I just feel like I want to get my money's worth from having bought these on the PS3, but I can always play them in my own time. Wait, oh, that was a really weird burp. I'm sorry for that. The story modes can also be played from the PS3 realistically. It's only really Universe that I wanted to get the 364 because it's just saving money rather than buying the DLC a second time. Why do that when the games are so cheap? You know, I actually looked at a curiosity at like WWE 12 on like eBay and someone was selling it. Buy it now, no postage cost, for like $170. That's a 361. Comes with the case and everything, and it's just like, why wouldn't I do that when I know that the DLC for W12, I think 2 items of DLC alone cost about, what, they're 99p each, I think. So that already is then more expensive. So I'll be looking forward to that in the future, doing them on 360. So I can access community creations, and when I can access community creations, assuming the servers are still up, I think they are. I think I went on it a few years ago as an experiment, and they were still up. There were people releasing things. I mean, admittedly, this was from like 2016 or 17, before I got rid of my 360 ones. Why I did that in hindsight, I'm not really sure, but I think I just wanted to switch to PS3 because frame rates and shit, as I was just talking about. But I believe I had a look before I got rid of them, and community creations were still working, and there were people releasing like current day stars at the time on like WWE 12 and 13. So I think they're still around. I'm happy to admit if they're not, you know, I'll just have to use the in-game rosters until I can finally access community creations many years down the line. But yeah, until the rosters are a bit more bigger, I'm probably not going to use the hardcore, because at the moment everyone is kind of getting used. The ECW title's just been brought in, and that will kind of finish up who's not being used, which actually isn't as many as you may think. But there will come a point where, you know, we'll have like a current day WWE sized roster, and it's at that point that I want to make sure that everyone's getting their fair shot, at least, you know, buy to try weekly as good as I can do it. Gotta say, as great as Sheamus has been in his tag team run, and before McIntyre debuted, as a matter of fact, not really looked very favourable against Kane. It's almost as if Kane is a different beast entirely. Apparently being able to beat Mark Henry and MVP in a handicap match, and being able to dominate the tag team champions alongside your partner, that's not really a good comparator in reference to facing off against the big red machine.
Kane sees Evil King, and he likes it. I know. And the slower, the longer he can drag out the pain on his opponent, the more pleasure.
Could be a signal for the end. Not if Sheamus can knee and shove. Suddenly in the center of the ring. Perfect. And of course there's your old rebrowned leg drop. Well, this could be it. Nope. DDT by Sheamus. Gonna make damn sure of that. Can he do it a second time? Oh! Sheamus. Very nice. Big boot rebounded off the ropes. Maybe that will get the job done instead. Yup, it will. Who needs choke slams? Wow, they lose so easily in this game. I gotta be careful with when I try for pins, I guess. Well, Sheamus showed that he had his wits about him and that he is quite resilient and quite strong, but I guess Kane's just that little bit better, and that's why he's still the United States champion with his incredibly out-of-character championship celebration. Well done, Kane. As we move on, up next, The Miz defends the Intercontinental title against, not Cody Rhodes, Vance Archer, my bad. Vance Archer, that's right. Vance Archer. Well, this is a very interesting situation we got on our hands. He's already beaten him twice. Once one-on-one to become the Intercontinental Champion. And second in a triple threat match where there was even the added threat of Luke Gallows. But, nonetheless, The Miz is now set to go one-on-one with Vance Archer in what is their third face-off for the Intercontinental Championship. And I think it's quite safe to say that Miz isn't exactly afraid of the possibility of losing to Vance Archer because he doesn't even consider it at this point.
Introducing the challenger from Dallas, Texas, weighing 270 pounds, Vance Archer.
Vance Archer, you know, he might one day be the real deal. He might be able to make a name for himself, but I think he might need to step back, maybe focus on the ECW title or something, because I think to constantly pursue a championship that you have failed to capture on 2 different occasions, although it's going to look good on your track record that you've had 3 consecutive shots, you know, you've been in every Intercontinental title match there's been, you never won any of them. I can't remember if he took the fall in the TLC match. Not literally a TLC match, the match at TLC. That's why I don't like those pay-per-view names. They are very confusing. But, I'm not sure he took the fall or not. But he was there, and he didn't come out with the championship. The Miz is a successful tag team and Intercontinental champion. He's managed to juggle both very successfully. Admittedly, sometimes it does feel like his partnership with Jericho is a bit of an afterthought. He's obviously in it for himself. That's always going to be one of the biggest issues you'll ever see when you look at the team of Jericho and The Miz, is that it's just 2 throbbing, massive egos literally being blended together. It's never going to work, it's never going to succeed, but they've made the most of it, and at the moment, as the first ever tag team champions, they've done very well for themselves. You know, Vance Archer, though, he's got a bad track record. He tried picking a fight with Yoshi Tatsu, it didn't work out for him. He tried picking a fight with The Miz, it hasn't worked out for him. The only thing that I find quite interesting is that his contendership win on SmackDown, you can almost credit to perhaps the distraction from CM Punk, because the moment Punk came out, Vance Archer got the win. Would he have gotten it otherwise? No one knows, but he got it. And it wasn't quite at the expense of Luke Gallows, so maybe we're looking at a 3rd member in the Straight Edge Society? Maybe I'm reading into things a little bit too closely, but perhaps. You look at the size and the intensity of Vance Archer, and it isn't really someone that, someone like The Miz, you know, no disrespect to him, he's a fantastic wrestler, but if you strictly look at things from a size and personality standpoint, you'd almost peg Vance Archer as someone who would beat The Miz 7 times over, rather than be someone with a 7-2 win-loss streak. I mean, loss to win, respectively. He's lost about 7 matches and he's won about 2. And let's not forget that one of those victories that Vance Archer holds only happened because he attacked Yoshi Tatsu before the match even begun. That was how he got his first shot at the Intercontinental title. Which is why Luke Gallows was originally added to the TLC match, because it wasn't actually a fairly earned shot at the championship. That being said, right now, this is the side of Vance Archer that I've been kind of hoping that we'd get to see. Dominant, in control, able to throw someone the Miz's size around a little bit more. The guy, I think he's about 7 foot, near enough. He's strong. He's got the nickname Mr. Intensity for a reason.
He's in perfect position. Complete control. In the ropes, but he keeps the hold locked in. Oh, man. And there's an overhand right. Nice counter there by
I think it would just be quite nice to see Vance Archer actually come out with a big win. But I think he's going to have to do more than just go straight to title shots to get it, is the problem. I think that this is jumping the gun a little bit too much. You go against someone who's evidently a lot more experienced than you and able to come up with the reversals and the strategies to overcome someone twice his size. Expect nothing less. See that right there? That's a great strategy. That's how someone like The Miz overcomes someone like Vance Archer. Of course, he does have the champion's advantage as well, which is that he can get counted out, he can get disqualified, and he will still be the champion. He can take as long as he wants out here. Even if he gets counted out, he's still the champion. Whereas if Vance Archer also gets counted out, that might hurt his chances. Can't forget about the exposed turnbuckle. A very strategically placed move by The Miz, and obviously he didn't, and that is really not going to help Vance Archer's chances. This is better, yep. And that's not so good. Again, typical approach by The Miz. The kind of thing that you have to expect when you get into the ring with him, really.
And The Miz gets out of it unscathed. We've seen this before.
Kick to the center, and big old neck breaker. And I think it's safe to say this one is almost at an end. That is usually a part of The Miz's finishing sequence. If he can get it off, I do apologize for all of the do-do-do-ding-dongs. And that might be as good as done. Not quite JTG dance. Oh! Well, I mean, as I said before, champion's advantage is most certainly a thing. And it looks like The Miz is going to take no exception to that. There you go. A disqualification to keep the championship. Miz obviously feeling that he's proven himself against Archer enough times already. And after Archer quickly got up from the skull-crushing finale, it was very clear that The Miz had had enough of that match. So that is, unfortunately, the end to that one. I promise you I did not just rush the end of that because my phone was going off, in all fairness. I want to clarify that. I don't want people to think I just rush matches because I have to. I thought that was the logical conclusion after the failure to pin him. I thought, well, Miz is a heel. He would do something like that. So... that was kind of my reason for it. It just suddenly struck. I was thinking to myself, if Vance Archer kicks out or fights back or something when it comes to the skull-crushing finale, then I'll go with plan B for The Miz, and rather than getting another clean win, I'll actually start acting like a heel and cheating my way through matches as Miz would. Alright, well, Diva's championship time. Initially supposed to be a one-on-one, but there was a slight change last second.
Introducing first, from Los Angeles, California, she is the Divas champion, Melina.
There's been a lot of complaints about injustices happening on the Raw brand when it comes to the women. So much so that after the way the Hart Dynasty lost the tag team titles, there was a little bit of a protest heading into this match from the Hart Dynasty as an entire unit, that includes Natalya. Because of the way that things went for them on Raw. Now, I don't really agree that the Hart Dynasty were cheated in any way out of their tag titles on Raw. I think that was quite a clean and fair win by the Celtic Cross. But nonetheless, after the way that things went for Mickie James versus Natalya with a quick jump shot at the start of the match and then a nice easy win for Mickie James, there was a bit of a protest in which the Hart Dynasty said that if they don't get some kind of retribution, some kind of justice for at least Natalya or the tag team champions, then they're going to jump ship to a brand that appreciates them more, and they're going to go to SmackDown.
Introducing the challenger from Richmond, Virginia.
This is Mickie James. What was that introduction for? But basically, yeah, the argument was if something wasn't done about it, then they would go to a brand that would appreciate them more. And so something was done about it. Natalya was given her fair opportunity because admittedly she didn't fairly lose to Mickie James. So we've got a triple threat match for the Divas Championship kind of thrown together last minute. Because I think SmackDown definitely would have taken on board the Hart Dynasty. That's a very, very big acquisition.
And introducing the challenger from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Natalya.
They've not really got anything tying them down to Raw other than the Cruiserweight title, you know, for Tyson Kidd should he ever go solo. But obviously, Hart Dynasty aren't really considering the possibility of going solo right now. So I'd say that was a good sign of solidarity. Obviously, we have the draft coming up not too long from now, though, so be interesting to see where everyone winds up coming off of that. That's right after WrestleMania. Kind of trying to figure out at what point I should transition from one game to the other. I'm thinking around Survivor Series, because that's when the games come out. But at the same time, I kind of want to go with, like, the arenas in the game. Because I know eventually... Survivor Series isn't the first one that was a 2009 arena. There will be more. So part of me is, like, find out which one's the 2009 arenas in 2011. And then kind of stop at that point. I just hope that that's how they line up in all the games. Now, a lot of people argue that obviously part of the other injustice going on Raw is the Divas champion Melina, who didn't actually win the Divas championship to begin with. She kind of just stood by and won it by technicality. She was the top-ranked women's competitor on the Raw brand from the free agents that were signed, obviously, is what we're going with there. So, she was handed it because of her ranking. Evidently, you can see right now that Natalya is very laser focused on Melina, who is pretending that Natalya does not exist. And I guess this is kind of appropriate to Melina's strategy at the moment. Her and John Morrison fully intend on becoming double champions before Mania, so expect Morrison to start challenging Triple H or Kane for one of the singles titles. I don't believe Morrison is eligible for the Cruiserweight Championship. So who he'd go for between those two, I don't know, unless he's praying for some kind of miracle that one of them drops it to someone else. But then I see John Morrison wanting to challenge Jack Swagger, Shawn Michaels, Triple H about as much as I see him wanting to challenge just Triple H. And frankly, I don't know who could stop Kane. Batista at the moment is the only guy, and I don't think that's someone John Morrison's going to want to face either. I mean, obviously, if he plays things the way Melina's playing them, then maybe.
There's a lot of things under the ring, and
Obviously, Mickie James has decided that she's going to join in on the injustices happening with the Raw Women's Division.
she's looking to get out of here.
Mickie James is nuts. Got a sledgehammer in her hand and she's chasing after Melina at full speed.
That's why they call it the championship advantage. You can lose the match, but still keep the title.
Someone's got to control Mickie James with that sledgehammer. It's quite a scary sight. A woman running at you with a sledgehammer.
Oh my God, what a chair shot!
Ah, you gotta love a smooth wrestling match. Full of nice connecting shots.
Oh, there's another hit.
Obviously, yeah, there's only 7 women on each women's brand, but there hasn't really been as much tension amongst the SmackDown ones about how Beth Phoenix was awarded the title in the same fashion as Melina. It's mostly been here on Raw that there's actually been any kind of contesting about it. Don't know why a sledgehammer has become such a pivotal moment in a women's championship match, but here we are.
What's she gonna do here, JR?
Oh.
There's the face buster.
There's the face buster, guys. The face buster. Can I, like... Thank you. I was trying my best. That's a nice roll through into a pin. That's a pretty cool move.
1, 2, 2.
Well, you can't argue with the facts there. That was a straight up pinfall on Natalya, no less. There really is no more disputing. Melina has actually earned the championship at this point. Admittedly, she spent a lot of the match running away from her opponents and then using weapons, but that's a triple threat advantage as far as I see it. You know, in a triple threat, you can't disqualify one of the 3 participants because how would you? It's the same reason you can't count out one of the 3 participants, because then who do you award the match to? There's 2 others in the match. So you can't disqualify, you can't count out in a triple threat. Realistically, it's almost like a champion's advantage in a weird way. It's just like, well, that's the triple threat advantage. You can come out with the championship intact strictly because you can use a weapon as much as you want and they can't disqualify you because there's no one to reward it to. Plain and simple. Well, will they, won't they? They did. I managed to fit this in the show somewhere. This has been recorded after the Royal Rumble match, so I'll try to prevent any spoilers. But I have just enough time to do this quick Women's Championship match. So sorry if anywhere after this match you hear me go, I definitely don't have enough time for the women's title match. At the time I didn't think I would. But here we are. This isn't actually introduced as a women's championship match. Unfortunately, there is no non-universe women's title, so I can't actually like book women's championship matches at all. But I feel like Phoenix has been holding the championship since TLC, so it's been about a month, which means that she's due a defense. Michelle McCool literally just won a contendership match right before the Royal Rumble. This match should probably happen. So, if not here, it had to be at SmackDown. So, it managed to happen here.
From Buffalo, New York, she is the WWE Women's Champion, Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon.
Shouldn't it be the Glamazon Beth Phoenix, not Beth Phoenix the Glamazon? He said that really strangely, like it should be the Glamazon Beth Phoenix, not Beth Phoenix the Glamazon. That just didn't... It didn't feel like he wanted to enthusiastically introduce her. Maybe they've had like a falling out or something and this is just their way of coming clean about it. Anyway, I got about a good 10 minutes, so I thought I might as well spend those 10 minutes just getting this extra match in for you, because I know you'll probably, well, I hope you'll probably appreciate it if I just actually made sure that all the matches that were announced actually happened. The Rumble went a little bit shorter than I was anticipating it, but there was some pretty great moments in it, and I look forward to you guys seeing it. I'm not going to say any more because this is supposed to be set before the Rumble match, so shh. Anyway, Beth Phoenix, Michelle McCool. I think when Michelle McCool won this title shot against Eve, I was going on a ramble about how I thought the wild card rule was stupid. I think that was how that one went down. But I do know this is Beth Phoenix's second match in this universe, and much like Melina and the Divas Championship, this is actually now her proving ground match, basically. This is where she gets to show if she really did deserve the Women's Championship to a degree. She still hasn't beaten the other 3 contestants of the Championship Scramble if she wins this. But considering she's dubbed the Glamazon, considering she is this absolute powerhouse bodybuilder Iron Lady type, I can't see why Beth Phoenix wouldn't be able to prove herself as one of the biggest and the best on SmackDown, barring Tiny Shiny, of course. So, I guess we'll see. You know, if there's one thing I'm really looking forward to them getting rid of in the future games, because I know they eventually do, it's when Superstar Threads changes the shine on people's outfits. Because if they have a shiny outfit, it's still, like, some of them still shine the color of, like, the actual attire. Like, Michelle McCool, I think her default attire is blue, but her outfit doesn't shine blue. But Beth Phoenix's outfit is originally green, and I've turned this one black, but because of the green shine on her, all of her outfits look like they just have a tint of green on them, and it's very strange, and I don't like it.
What's the deal with Michelle McCool, gang?
And when you don't like things, you have to rant about them on the internet until something happens. And even though this game is 9 years old this year, and things have already happened about its flaws, I need to complain about them anyway, like the small belts. What's up with that, as the Hurricane would say? The Hurricane not being a playable character. What's up with that?
Controlling the waist, the head bending at a weird angle.
You know, these are things that make us all very upset.
Prince Buster.
Am I really gonna win this like this quickly?
She's going for it.
Well, I mean, Michelle sucks according to the fans, so I guess it's not really a surprise. Well, if you wanted Beth Phoenix to prove that she deserved the Women's Championship, I think that was quite a clear statement that she does, because that was about 2 minutes long, and it couldn't have been an easier challenge.
Here's your winner, Beth Phoenix.
Well, she's still the Women's Champion. That is her successful title defense. I think I'm going to throw this one in right before the World Heavyweight title match. So look forward to Randy Orton versus The Big Show. You ain't going to want to miss it. It's a fantastic match. Genuinely. I'll see you guys then. Even though this is now technically me finishing the recording. So yeah. Enjoy that. It's good. Alright. It's one of our main events for the night. World Heavyweight title match.
Following contest is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Introducing the challenger. Standing 7 feet tall, weighing 485 pounds, the Big Show.
So here we go. It's Big Show versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's gonna be a big one. Two of the most unstoppable forces on SmackDown. Most recently, winning a main event match is the Big Show. He won a 6-man tag team match against Randy Orton, CM Punk, and Edge. Big Show teaming up with the likes of The Undertaker and John Cena, all people that you could see compete in the Elimination Chamber next month for the World Heavyweight Championship. No doubt about it. Like, I could see all 6 of those being the match.
Weighing 245 pounds is the World Heavyweight Champion, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton won the World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match that featured the Big Show. Pardon me for accidentally hitting the mic stand. He has been holding on to the championship since late December. This is now late January, which means he's been holding it for about a month. This is his first actual title defense. The former champion, The Undertaker, not given a rematch as he never actually successfully defended the World Heavyweight Championship, meaning he's got to earn his way into contention, and unfortunately for him, the Big Show and CM Punk were both ranked above him, hence why they ended up having a contenders match between the two, which led to, of course, as you see now, Big Show being the #1 contender. There's a little bit of an issue with Big Show on his way to the World Heavyweight title, though, as CM Punk really will not let go the opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship, really insists that he will become the World Heavyweight Champion one way or another, to the point where he has somehow gotten a match to be restarted that was originally for the title shot after Big Show won. And speak of the devil, my goodness, he just doesn't let up. The hell is he doing at ringside?
There's the bell, and here we go. The first
You can't avoid this guy. I mean it. He just doesn't go away. Clearly not aligned with either of these two. Big Show's tag team partner, Lex Luger of the Gun Show, wasn't able to get his championship won earlier in the night, the ECW championship. He got the first elimination in the match, which if it was a 1-4 match would have meant that Lex Luger was the ECW champion, but as it was a elimination style, Luger was the second to go in that 4-way, which came down to Terry Funk beating Ricky Steamboat to become the ECW champion. Fast forward to this, one of our 3 main event matches for the show, and Big Show now looking to perhaps do Lex Luger proud and become World Heavyweight Champion. CM Punk stood eagerly by at ringside. I'm almost certain we'll see Punk in the Royal Rumble match later on in the show.
Just raw, unmitigated power. And that one hurt his hand. Orton with a fiendish counter. What must Big Show be thinking right now, King? You know, last week when these guys fought, he got the win. I'm sure he's hoping for history to repeat itself tonight. Ouch! Good Lord.
And we see the fight go to the outside, and obviously Randy Orton got to do a lot to take out Big Show. He has already beaten Big Show one-on-one on SmackDown before to prove that he could beat Big Show at TLC as well as The Undertaker. Because obviously, realistically, the nature of the way in which Randy Orton won the TLC match, yes, it was dominant. Yes, it was very defiant, very well-deserved victory. But it didn't really involve a pinfall as well as, obviously, Big Show in the conclusive moment. There was a little bit of argument that Big Show maybe handed Randy Orton that opportunity because he didn't really try to stop him after Undertaker got booted down onto the steel steps back first. Oh, nice big chop to the chest and an ass to the face. And that's the kind of offense you can expect from Big Show. This is a very different match to what we saw at 2 weeks ago on SmackDown when Big Show faced off against CM Punk inside the steel cage and mauled him. He won that match in probably just a couple of minutes to become the official contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. This has been a very different type of match, but then obviously Randy Orton is a whole other level of competitor. No disrespect intended to CM Punk, but Randy Orton's been on his A game ever since winning the World Heavyweight Championship. He's been on his A game on the road to the World Heavyweight Championship, including beating CM Punk multiple times.
Orton makes the cover.
He could very well just get the win this easy. That's a no.
You know, Randy Orton could very well be the most
Good to know that Big Show can put up a little bit more of a fight than some. Not a very favorable place to be when you're up against the Big Show. Definitely not a favorable predicament to be in when you're up against the Big Show. Randy Orton does have the champion's advantage should he see fit. He can get himself disqualified or counted out. I gotta say, so far he's shown himself as a very honorable performer. So I'm not entirely sure that that's gonna be his approach at any given moment. I don't really see him being the kind to want to get himself counted out or disqualified to keep the World Heavyweight Championship. Things can change, but admittedly, I'm just not sure we're going to see that side of Orton.
Who's going to come away with the World Championship?
But Punk stands by at ringside, and it's very interesting. Randy Orton almost seems to want to take the fight over to Punk, as if to try and stick it in his face that this is not Punk's opportunity. That as obsessed with the World Heavyweight title as Punk is, he's not getting that shot.
Big Show into the headlock.
Punk's actually, I think, probably suffered more losses than wins at this point, but the guy just won't back off from the World Heavyweight Championship. He almost seems to have convinced himself that he is a contender.
That'll cause some damage. Reversal. Orton reversed it. Fold it up, end over end. Oh, what a knee. And there are those biting
And
icy
obviously
eyes.
Orton getting a little bit more focused. There you go. I hope you guys have been enjoying the Royal Rumble event so far. Obviously, you've still got the fantastic Royal Rumble match to come. That's the one I always look forward to the most. all year round, so I'm really glad that this universe started so close to it. Hence why the first universe started at the Royal Rumble. Just really enjoy the Royal Rumble. That and Money in the Bank. Right up to Punk, and yep, there you go. To say it's head games. It's all head games. Randy Orton, he's not the most modest guy, but it's all about getting in the head of CM Punk and using the head of Orton, apparently. I don't really know what his end goal is, other than to take out Big Show and really stick it to Punk. We've never actually seen anyone do anything after coming out to that corner. You know there's a reason that Punk watches on. Yeah, I've got to say, honestly, it seems like the more Big Show gets beaten up, there's kind of a difference between him and most of the other competitors that you've seen in the night. Which is that the more damage Big Show sustains, the more in control he'll become later on, almost. It's like, that's kind of a determining factor for the kind of Big Show you're going to see. Not that he starts off soft, but obviously what I mean is, like, he doesn't seem to run on empty, you know? When a lot of people start favoring their head, they start to slow down a little bit, and that seems to kind of be like a cutoff point for them, but obviously that doesn't ever really seem to be the case with someone like Big Show.
When you get in control like this, you want to throw everything at your opponent. And that could be what we're seeing here.
Whatever Orton keeps trying to do in the corner, I'll tell you what, Big Show really doesn't want it to happen. I suppose realistically, when you weigh like almost 500 pounds, and there's the possibility of you getting thrown off of a top rope, you know that that impact is probably going to take you out of the match. Now, this is not a situation I think anyone would want to be in. Must have been at least 8 or 9 feet in the air there.
And the third generation superstar acting almost on instinct now.
I think it's very impressive that they've actually managed to go as back and forth as they have.
7 feet, nearly 500 pounds, is the world's largest athlete, the Big Show. Orton.
Okay. Bit of a cheap move, but there are no rules against it. As long as he doesn't do it for too long. And of course, there's always the rope rebound clothesline, something I didn't realize that Big Show would be capable of doing, but he did.
Big Show countered it. And Orton looks like he's in some sort of trance. He has himself so psyched up for this. A very calculated assault being
What a back and forth fight. Big Show is actually really hard to beat.
And there's just a sample of the power of the Big Show.
Might win the World Heavyweight title. Not ruling out any possibilities. I'll tell you what, that's not exactly someone that I think a lot of people would want to challenge for the title. But then that Elimination Chamber can be a huge turnover for a lot of people.
He's going for the pin.
Not an easy one to make it out of with the title intact. I think we'll see 1, if not 2, world title changes at the Chamber. That's how confident I am. When it comes to the Elimination Chamber, I really do just think, like, that's it. You're not making it out of that one with your title intact near enough. It's probably more likely you'll see a new champion than the same. You go month in, month out having to prove yourself as the champion, and then you have this one match that comes up once a year that's, like, rougher than every other match. Tell you what, I think Big Show has honestly won himself a World Heavyweight title.
Have you ever been over to Big Show's house? His cereal bowl has a lifeguard. You know, anybody that thinks there's some good in everybody hasn't met Randy Orton. Big Show goes behind. And there's the elbow. Big Show.
It's going to have to be agility over all else from Orton, I think. He's busted Big Show open. And of course, you have to expect this from the Apex Predator. There's one thing that Randy Orton's going to be known for. It's targeting a damaged limb. I just want to know why CM Punk hasn't done anything. Maybe he just genuinely wants to see who comes out on top so he knows who he's going to be chasing next. Is he going to be getting annihilated by Big Show some more, or is he going to get annihilated by Randy Orton some more? I mean, he's at least got a victory over Randy Orton. He's got a DQ victory over Big Show, but Randy Orton's really, really going for that bloodied head.
And Randy Orton is a success. He has the win-loss record to prove it. He has the path of destruction to prove it.
Doing the flippies, are we, Big Show?
Ouch! The back of the head.
Wow. Okay. Really just trying to get the job done. Trying to keep up Randy Orton's incredible resilience. That's kind of one of the things I think he's going to be best known for. Pure endurance. Jeez, Big Show's head is looking bad.
Just unstable, disturbed is Randy Orton.
Stop! I don't know when to press the reverse button. It's a weird, like, strategy. Okay, Randy. Got something to prove to someone?
Right in the kisser. Big Show controlling the head.
Oh.
Orton is just having his way. Well,
why did my momentum just randomly shoot down like that? That was a little weird.
Oh, look at this. DDP. Woo, a little show.
It's game over time, Big Show. Oh, he doesn't have the backbreaker? What the fuck? Oh, I thought he would have had the backbreaker.
He's looking to put his opponent away right here.
A bloodied mess of Big Show.
What a move by the champ.
And this could be the beginning of the end. Yep, that's it. No reversal means no chance. Big Show is an absolute state. Well, there you go. If you ever had your doubts about Randy Orton being the World Heavyweight Champion, I hope this has severely cleaned them up for you. Cleared them up, I mean. Hard fought and very well proven. And now a sign of respect from Randy after a hard fought battle. Uh-oh. Well, obviously this is the second time that Randy Orton has handed Big Show a loss. And obviously Big Show's just had enough. That could be both bad news for Randy Orton and the rest of the SmackDown roster. Well, this has been a pretty highly anticipated match, to say the least. Two best friends, tag team partners who only just made their debut as a tag team on this past episode of Raw and lost, are now going to face off against each other. First time ever in this universe, one-on-one for the WWE Championship.
Introducing the challenger from San Antonio, Texas, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Triple H won the WWE Championship in a championship scramble in the very first episode of this universe back at end of November. He's had a successful title defense against Jack Swagger in a grueling TLC match last month. And now he goes from one of his toughest challenges almost instantly. Some could argue, you know, he may not face someone as tough as Jack Swagger was again. You never know. But obviously I thought that was an incredibly harsh first title defense. Now he's got to go up against his best friend, his tag team partner, because Shawn Michaels is a top-ranked guy on Raw and has earned this opportunity. And this could already be the end of DX before it ever began, realistically. Depends on how far these guys are willing to take each other. I can't imagine that 2 months into his reign, Triple H would appreciate losing to Shawn Michaels. But at the same time, he might feel a lot of pride and respect in his partner beating him.
Weighing 255 pounds, he is the WWE Champion, the Game.
It's a very touchy and difficult situation to be able to just kind of figure out on the spot is, you know, how is this going to go down? What's going to happen when two people that are allegedly extremely close face off one-on-one for the first time and with such high stakes? You can't honestly expect your friend to just lose, either one of you. You can't expect your friend to just hand you a title, and you can't expect your friend to just let you keep your title. I suppose realistically the only way that they can survive this as a team is if they put their partnership to the side, if they treat it as if they're facing two completely different people, but they just kind of know their limits. Although perhaps it would be more respectful to each other to not think about their limits, to try and just go as far as they possibly can, steal the show. I have to confirm that the Women's Championship match won't be happening on the Royal Rumble. I'm looking at the time now. I think the Rumble match itself could go for about an hour, and I gotta be done in exactly 1 hour from now, so I think I'm gonna have to pass on that Women's Championship match. I might have to try and make this one kind of quick. I'm just worried that I'm not gonna have enough time to do the Rumble and this match. I don't know how long the Rumble's gonna take. I mean, they can be like half an hour, they can be like an hour. I honestly don't know. No Jack Swagger at ringside, which is good. He's not stirring the pot, him and his new buddy William Regal.
So here we go with this one-on-one match. You can win by pinfall, submission.
Obviously, I think Triple H, the ideal here to help bring prestige to the WWE title is to have Triple H retain. But for some people, I think the ideal would be to have Shawn Michaels become a even better champion than Triple H has been, so I think either one is a good outcome. It's just a matter of kind of finding out which one's going to happen, as Shawn Michaels will not come off his feet, apparently.
You can see the mind turning. You have to wonder what Triple H has in store next. And Triple H is feeding off the energy in this arena.
A little bit of reference to their tag team with that motion. Probably not the nicest way to be presenting that representation, but he did.
Well, last week when these two squared off, he got the win.
I don't know what the hell Michaels is doing here. That was weird. I'm not sure how competitive this match will be in comparison to the last match we just saw. I think Big Show has really made a name for himself, though, that's for damn sure. Him refusing the handshake from Randy Orton might be the most impactful declined handshake we've had in this series so far. You know, we've had a lot of people slap a lot of hands away when handshakes are offered. No one's ever actually taken one. But, there's something about the Big Show after the grueling fight that he had with Randy Orton. Randy Orton was saying, "You've really earned my respect. That was incredible. You brought me to my limits." That's what that handshake implied to me, at least. And Big Show slapping that hand away and just saying, "No, I don't want your respect. I'm mad. I lost that match and I worked my ass off for it." I think that we're about to see a very different side of the Big Show. That's for sure.
Shawn Michaels is the embodiment of art. Hello, you can almost see the tears in his eyes. Watch it. That was like a freight train.
You know that Triple H and Shawn Michaels have had an extremely storied career outside of this specific universe. You know, there was an old universe where they had a hell of a lot of matches against each other and a hell of a lot of injuries sustained by the other two.
Michaels. Oh, and Triple H saw it coming. At this point, what does Shawn Michaels need to do, King?
And outside of any universes, obviously, I think the way that this universe works is I want to acknowledge, honestly, I want to acknowledge the old universe to an extent. I don't want to like add it to the record books or anything, but I kind of want to acknowledge that there's some history there. And obviously, I also want to acknowledge GM mode as well. I think that's kind of a cool one to kind of throw in. But those are all kind of different promotions is kind of what I'd say. Like this is like the JNS universe. But like, I don't know what the GM would be, you know, maybe like the GM universe. I don't fucking know. I think Triple H is about to show Shawn Michaels the hard way that it's just not that easy to beat the WWE champion. That spinebuster connected awfully easily. If he can actually get the pedigree, I think we might be looking at an incredibly short-lived title match for Michaels. This could be the end already. And just like that, Shawn Michaels was put out by his own buddy Triple H. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. Shawn Michaels, I gotta admit, fantastic competitor, but he hasn't really shown that he's ready for a title match. He had several main events against Jack Swagger. Swagger beat him almost every single time. He won one ladder match, which realistically does only mean you have to have pulled down a thing hanging above the ring. Now, you've got to beat two other people to doing so, but he never pinned or submitted anyone to earn this title shot. And then in a tag team match just before it, him and Triple H lost. So, admittedly, Michaels really didn't show too much going into this, and I think that's why Triple H got such a defiant and easily earned victory in this one. But now it's Royal Rumble time. I am so ready. I really hope it uses some potential surprises, but I'm not going to be surprised if it doesn't.
And now, it is time for the Royal Rumble match. Now in this match, the two superstars that drew #1 and #2 will start. Other superstars will join in the order that they drew. This will continue until all 30 superstars have entered the ring. Now the only way to be eliminated is to be thrown over the top rope, with both feet landing on the floor. The last man in the ring will be declared the winner of the Royal Rumble and will advance to the main event of WrestleMania.
Alright, well, there you have it. That's the rules of the Royal Rumble, in case you didn't know. And number 1 is Mark Henry.
Introducing first, from Silsbee, Texas, weighing 418 pounds, he is the world's strongest man, Henry.
Now, I was actually able to change the participants, so what I made sure to do was take out Mr. McMahon, who it decided to throw in, even though he is a free agent. I'm not sure why it did that, but it put him in. So thanks for that, game. I'm now shitting myself because I don't remember taking the alternate outfit John Cena out, and I don't remember him, like, I don't remember seeing him in the Superstar Picker. I hope to God Cena hasn't been given 2 shots at the Rumble, but I think I might have just accidentally given Cena 2 shots at the Rumble. He changed his clothes and came out for a second shot. And entrant number 2 is Wade Barrett.
From Manchester, England, weighing 265 pounds, Wade Barrett.
I tried not to mess with who was in the Rumble too much, but obviously I wanted certain people to kind of sit this out. You know, I think realistically you guys are going to appreciate a lot more if I give someone that I know a lot of you guys like MVP, a shot over someone like Jimmy Snuka, who I've never seen anyone go nuts about in the comments. I know that you guys would prefer that, say, Evan Bourne was put in the match instead of, like Terry Funk, who literally just won the ECW title earlier. So I did kind of, like, swap a few names out that I thought, like, maybe didn't really need it as much to, like, kind of make, like, the ones that win it a bit more fitting. Or did I leave Terry Funk in? I might have left Terry Funk in, actually. But, like, I took, like, Lex Luger out. and replaced him with like someone that I just thought you guys would be more interested in, as an example. I don't actually remember who I took out. The only one I'm certain I took out was Mr. McMahon, because it had the nerve to put him in it. So entrant number 3 into the Royal Rumble is now on his way to the ring, and that is Drew McIntyre. That was an extremely quick entry. I don't know how long this Royal Rumble is going to run for. I'm hoping not longer than the next 45 minutes, because that's all I've got. But Wade Barrett, Drew McIntyre, Mark Henry, all superstars from Raw. I don't actually think I paid any attention to making sure it was an even split, so I'm sorry if Raw or SmackDown has more than the other. And number 4 is Batista. That's a pretty big, quick entry into the Rumble match. But I tried to make sure that everyone that entered, barring the 2 potential surprises, don't know how surprised you'll be, were people that, like, you'd agree with. Mark Henry once again suffering a harsh loss. He is now going to go down in this series' history books as the first man to ever be eliminated from a Royal Rumble match. As well as the first guy to ever be given number 1. And here comes Rob Van Dam. That's the first guy from SmackDown to actually enter the Royal Rumble. A bit unfortunate for the blue brand. So I'll try to keep an eye. I am currently messaging Saria because she's on break and I don't have time to stop the video to talk to her as well. So I'm kind of doing both. So I'm sorry if I'm a little bit not present, but I'll try my best. Zack Ryder, the former Cruiserweight Champion. I had some people predicting that he'd win this year's Royal Rumble. That would be very interesting, to say the least. But that is something that you guys some of you seem to really think will happen. Not going to argue, just stating something that was said in the comments. Drew McIntyre just barely hung in there. Batista on the ropes. And here comes William Regal, Jack Swagger's new friend. And there goes Batista. That's a big name to see gone so fast. William Regal slowly strutting down to the ring. Like ordering something off of eBay right now for Saria whilst also commentating a video. I just don't have the time to do like each of these things separately right now, so I'm actually trying my best. Oh, we got another one coming out. Fans are counting.
Another stiff kick.
And here comes Shawn Michaels. That's the confirmation that just because you lost a match earlier in the night, you're not out of the Rumble. By the way, it had booked Triple H in the Rumble. I thought that was unbelievably rude. It put the WWE Champion in the Royal Rumble. It was like, how dare you?
Quick as a corpse on that one. One of the things you have to come to terms with in the Royal Rumble is you can work with a partner all you want, but in the end, it's every man for himself.
So we've now got the full ring of 6. There is an extra rule where if there are 6 men in the ring at one time, no more can enter. And Shawn Michaels is already out. William Regal and Jack Swagger really got it out for Shawn Michaels' career. It's a shame DX might be haunted by whatever the hell Swagger and Regal are going to be called for the rest of their career at this rate. Those guys have really got it out for them. Could be a potential 4 participants in the chamber match. Michaels, Triple H, Swagger, Regal. There goes McIntyre at the hands of Ryder. That's a champion that Ryder just eliminated.
That'll cause some damage. He gets out of trouble there. That kick almost took his head off.
I don't actually know what number we're up to now. Shit. And there goes RVD. And here comes the legend! You asked, and you will receive. He is back. That was the biggest and best surprise I had for you in this. D9 Fault. I had to make him a little different, as you could probably tell. I couldn't quite remember how to make him. And on top of that, oh yeah, do some pre-match workouts. You get ready, boy. When you're ready. There goes Regal. D9 Fault is officially a part of the Raw roster. They didn't actually have all the parts for him, so I had to kind of make him from scratch with like some extra bits. I couldn't remember his like weird limb proportions either. So sorry about him not quite looking right, but I did my best. And oh no, don't get him out straight away, Wade. Matt Hardy very slowly coming down to the ring. So many Raw superstars in this one. And here comes MVP. As I said before, I have no idea what number we're up to right now. Gonna guess like 12 or something. MVP very slowly coming down. Again, another Raw superstar. Not a lot of SmackDown representing in this match. D9 Fault, of course, wanted to pursue the Cruiserweight title, so he headed over to Raw. And by Cruiserweight, I mean WWE title. Wade Barrett, no, no, no! Well, surprise entrants don't usually win, so I'll take that. Here comes The Miz. The current reigning Intercontinental and WWE Tag Team Champion could become World Heavyweight Champion. Matt Hardy's been thrown out, as has Zack Ryder. Wow. This one's going by pretty fast.
The quick kick. Oh my gosh, another one? Is it time already?
John Cena. Now there's a big name to win the Royal Rumble. I'm very interested in finding out who the first Royal Rumble winner is gonna be, to be honest.
What a vicious chop. Oh, we're about to have another one. That'll do some damage. Oh my, just raw, unmitigated power.
And here is one guy you're going to want to really keep your eyes on. We saw a different side of Big Show after his match with Orton, and obviously he was left in a bloody, bad, beaten state. It'll be very interesting to see how he's even feeling going into this, as MVP just eliminated The Miz. That's a massive elimination for MVP. Double champion eliminated by just little old MVP.
An aggressive shot to the midsection. Boy, the time just flies, doesn't it? Look, over there in the corner.
Maybe Wade Barrett's going to get eliminated. He's been in for quite some time. Entrant number 2, and here comes Austin, who seems very excited to be in the Royal Rumble. Wow, he is so damn excited about the Royal Rumble. Cena could finally throw Barrett out. He's been in for incredibly long, and now he's gone. Sad but true. He did really well. And The Rock. Stone Cold and The Rock back to back. Two big names from both Raw, well, SmackDown and Raw respectively. Would be the correct order to say that in. Sorry, no, I was right the first time. Austin's on Raw and The Rock's on SmackDown. Whoops. And Big Show eliminating Cena. It's pretty massive. As I say, Big Show a little bit pissed off right now with how his World Heavyweight title match with Orton turned out. I think he's very motivated right now. No. I thought for a minute we were going to see Stone Cold get eliminated. That would have been really, really big for MVP.
On the ropes, fighting for survival.
Big Show going straight for The Rock. I could see Big Show eliminating The Rock. I really could. As here comes one half of the tag team champions. He didn't manage to beat Kane for the US title, but he did manage to beat Kane in getting a spot in the Royal Rumble. Kane is not in this Royal Rumble. My reason for not putting Kane in this Royal Rumble is I didn't want him to just randomly unmask. And obviously it just uses their default attires for this. So yeah, he would have unmasked. Sheamus has already had a change of outfit from earlier. Here comes another half of the tag team champions, Chris Jericho. Miz really didn't last very long. Maybe Jericho can. So we are almost up to a full ring now, as we've got Evan Bourne. So we've got Evan Bourne, MVP, Sheamus, all from Raw. Oh, and Stone Cold from Raw. Sorry, I keep thinking he's on SmackDown. This GMO, he's on SmackDown. And we've got Big Show and Chris Jericho from SmackDown. Very interesting. Odds are definitely in Raw's favor right now for a Royal Rumble win. Someone to face Triple H at WrestleMania for the WWE title. I think the Royal Rumble winner does get the choice of jumping over to SmackDown if they prefer. Jericho eliminating Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's on the ropes in the corner. He could be done here.
Kind of dreading where this other surprise participant is now, because my god, this is quite late into the Rumble, I think. Maybe it just removed them. That'd be fine. We saw Denying Fault. That's the only one I care about. Oh, Jesus. MVP almost went straight over the ropes and out. He might not have the best... Oh, I was about to say, he might not have the best win-loss record, but MVP would be a fantastic winner for the first ever Royal Rumble.
Who's coming out next? Oh, mama!
Alright, we're on the countdown for another entrant. I have no idea what number we're up to. But here comes Edge. Another top guy over on the SmackDown brand. Which now puts SmackDown at a numbers advantage. Only Evan Bourne and Sheamus are from Raw, whilst SmackDown's got Edge, Chris Jericho, and The Big Show.
Oh my, just raw, unmitigated power. Next entrance getting ready to come out. Hard shot to the skull. These matches are so dangerous. You never know when or where you're going to get attacked from.
And there's one of Raw's absolute best. Honestly, my pick to win the Royal Rumble, there goes Evan Bourne. Not surprised that Big Show would get him out with ease, as he now goes for Jericho. But yeah, here comes who I would have definitely picked as my #1 guy to win the Royal Rumble matchup. Jericho also eliminated. As I say, Big Show's on a bit of a frenzy right now. He's just so pissed at the way things went for him. Sheamus managed to get out Edge, which I gotta say I really wasn't expecting. This is now 2 people from Raw, Jack Swagger and Sheamus, and 1 from SmackDown and Big Show. I don't think these are the final 3. Yep, that's confirmation. He said get ready. And here comes The Undertaker. How could we forget? There goes Jack Swagger. my pick did not last very long. Honestly, I think my pick might have to be Big Show. This, like, really aggressive version of Big Show is just a freak of nature. He's something to be feared.
He anticipated that move perfectly. Who's gonna enter next?
It's like not even fair on the other competitors how dangerous he seems to be. I'll go ahead and put my PS3 controller in charge now. And John Morrison getting one of those last entrant favorable spots.
Big kick echoing around the arena. That'll cause some damage. Who's next?
We've got another entrant now coming in.
Hear how his leg connected?
Numbers starting to build back up again. 2 from SmackDown, 2 from Raw. And here comes the newest acquisition on SmackDown. You guys wanted the Great Destroyer back. I didn't really want to call him that, so this guy's name is Nemesis. I realize it's a bit cringy, but I just wanted a simpler name than the Great Destroyer. So this is the rookie version of the Great Destroyer. This is the new fresh face. I mean, he's not clean shaven, but he's the baby boy Great Destroyer. Forget everything you knew about him before. He's a newbie. We'll say that he's like, 19 or something. He's just gotten into the wrestling world, and he's gotten this big opportunity to debut in this Royal Rumble match. And Rey Mysterio out next. And I think, yeah, Nemesis is already... No, he actually managed to hang in there. I'm kind of surprised. I was expecting him to just get thrown out, like, right away.
Incredible counter. The force, my God. Look at him pushing with everything he has. Trying to break that grasp on the bottom rope. Bam. Oh, my. Just raw, unmitigated...
Undertaker still managing to hang in there. I actually, I remember I was trying to think of, like, a really edgy name for my dude. And I was like, Nemesis just popped to my brain. And I was like, what's the dictionary definition of Nemesis? So I looked up, I don't actually remember off the top of my head. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. The inescapable agent of someone or something's downfall. I just really liked that. And I was like, whoa. That is just edgy enough to be my dude. That is what I'm looking for. Just super fucking corny edginess. And that is what I got. So that's why I called him that. He is the beginning of someone's downfall. Or the core reason for it. I already forgot the exact definition. Fucking hell, Undertaker. Give poor little Ray a chance. So Cody Rhodes might be number 30. I honestly don't know how far into the Rumble we are anymore. But we've got Nemesis, Undertaker, and Cody and Big Show from SmackDown, and Sheamus from Raw. Sheamus might be Raw's last chance. I'm not hearing the countdown. Uh-oh. And that might be it for Raw. Choke slammed right out of the ring. Oh. Got a countdown. Someone else is coming out. Is this number 30? Kofi Kingston! Oh, with his pyro, too. What a privilege. Somebody get Nemesis out. I really don't want him to win the first ever Rumble in his debut match. Like, I really, really don't want that. Please. I wanted him to be in as, like, a surprise debut, not as a winner. Undertaker, like, focus on... Get him out. I mean, getting Big Show out makes a lot of sense. He's kind of on a bit of a rampage. He's been very intimidating to a lot of people. We've got another entrant coming out. And there goes Cody. And here comes Dolph Ziggler. An interesting final one. I will admit, I haven't actually made the movesets for D9 Fault and Nemesis yet. They do actually just have default motions, like moves and entrance. I only set up their themes so that they could enter this properly. I think Kofi, at the moment, is Raw's last chance of having a Royal Rumble winner. And Undertaker is making sure that that is not something that happens. It's not the final 3, because there's a standoff with the final 3. Oh, 29! There you go. Thank you, Lawler. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but thank you, Lawler. CM Punk. How could I forget? A man out for blood and the World Heavyweight Championship. Silly me. We have just got one more left to come out, but right now... SmackDown has got the Royal Rumble in the palm of its hands. And Christian! Returning from injury. Now that's a pleasant surprise. Originally set to challenge Zack Ryder for the Cruiserweight Championship. Christian suffered an injury at the hands of John Morrison going into that match on the final episode of Superstars that then became the first episode of ECW. And, Undertaker's been eliminated. That is massive. That is an absolutely massive victory. So it's going to be one of these four. I really... Come on, man. Please don't. I really don't want him to debut that way. He's only got like an overall of like 80, 82, I think, something like that. Everyone here is like 87, 89. Like, he's way weaker than everyone else. I wanted him to be a rookie. That was the whole point. Don't fuck it up. Go on, Punk. Get him out. Use your finisher. No? Okay. I mean, you probably don't need it. He's really weak, honestly. Really weak. Double elimination. Nemesis and Ziggler out. And that is it. It is now down to these two. I don't really know what's happening here. Okay. Christian and CM Punk, one of these two, will be the first ever Royal Rumble winner. Absolutely massive opportunity for either man involved to become the first ever Royal Rumble winner. Christian returning from injury to become WWE champion would be absolutely massive. And I think we don't have it. But CM Punk is determined to become World Heavyweight Champion, and this might be his best chance of actually getting it. A WrestleMania main event for CM Punk. But Christian has got CM Punk on the ropes and returning from injury straight into the WrestleMania main event. This is not the Christian of the last universe, but this is a Christian that main events the first ever WrestleMania. I'm speechless. What an absolutely gigantic return. A guy that was originally supposed to be challenging for the Cruiserweight title will now be going to WrestleMania to fight for either the WWE or the World Heavyweight Championship. The first ever Royal Rumble winner is Christian, and the WrestleMania fate is in his hands. Which champion he goes for, where he goes, what he does from here. This is his road to WrestleMania, and Punk, disgusted at ringside as he once again is thwarted in his efforts to get a World Heavyweight title opportunity. Wow. Incredible. Really not who I had in mind. I really thought Punk was going to win it. This has completely blown my plans for Christian's return out of the water. I had a lot of plans for him, actually. They didn't involve being a world champion, admittedly. This has changed a lot. Christian has won the Royal Rumble, winning his chance to appear in the WrestleMania 26 main event. His chance to appear? What the fuck do you mean? No, he is going to appear. Hang on, did they not? What? He didn't turn heel for that? Whatever. Okay, so rankings changes are Mickie James is up to the #1 contender. I think that's from this week's Raw, so that one doesn't really count. The Legacy are one up above MVP and Mark Henry. I'm not sure where that one came from, but just throwing it out there for you. David Hart Smith takes a drop to rank number 10, whilst R-Truth and Jack Swagger go up a couple. Not really sure what that's in relation to. And Jack Swagger is above Shawn Michaels. That makes a lot of sense considering Michaels just lost a title match. And from SmackDown, Michelle McCool is the #1 contender. Maurice is above that, and Eva is below. Yep. The Legacy have gone up. Yep, you already saw that one. Vance Archer is still the #1 contender, even though he has now lost 3 Intercontinental title matches. Unbelievable. Big Show is up on the rankings. Ziggler drops, and Cody Rhodes and Ted have dropped. And nothing has changed from that one. Okay, cool. Good to know. So, looking forward to the next episode of Raw, we have got Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston with Evan Bourne. Maybe, maybe not, I'm not sure. It does kind of make sense because tag teams are involved in that one. Morrison MVP submission match. Maybe Morrison MVP one-on-one, but submission match, absolutely not. Swagger and Regal versus Cody and Ted. No, because Cody and Ted are on SmackDown, so that is not happening. And Triple H versus Justin Gabriel in an Iron Man match is just plain and simple not a match that's going to happen. There is no other way around that. That is just not happening. So there you have it. But that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you all for joining me for this one. Christian is the Royal Rumble winner. It says it above his name. So he is going to WrestleMania with a Royal Rumble victory. I'm going to spill the beans just to let you guys know what I originally had planned for him. This is kind of like a little bonus bit for you. Originally planned for Christian going into WrestleMania, or not going to WrestleMania, but coming back from injury. He was going to officially come back from injury after the Royal Rumble, which I didn't expect him to win on the next episode of Raw. And he was going to screw Kofi Kingston in a match with Zack Ryder of some sort. Probably not for the title, but he was going to side with Zack Ryder and jump like Kofi Kingston. And I was going to start a rivalry between the two, where Christian's bitter because Kofi stole his opportunity. And I was going to just form a team between him and Ryder and maybe have them become tag champions down the line. And that was really all I had planned for Christian, admittedly, was a bit of a tag push with Ryder to kind of get Ryder's momentum carrying on, whilst also then building Christian up as a tag wrestler. But a Royal Rumble win is definitely not what I had anticipated. But that is what we've got. So we're going to roll with that. I'm A-okay with it. It is fine by me. Christian will be main eventing WrestleMania. That is the only reason I'm sharing that plan with you, is because obviously it's just not happening now. It's very obvious to everyone that that's just not a thing that's going to happen. So yeah. I might go back and quickly throw in the Women's Championship match, because I definitely have time for that now. So thank you for joining me for this episode of the Royal Rumble here in the universe. As always, I think that was a hell of a lot of fun, as the Royal Rumble always is. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!